When the last shot is hit, the final match played, and a career comes to a close, there is still one honor left to bestow for select tennis legends. Where does a player go to have their career cemented in history for all to see and future generations to be inspired? To the International Tennis Hall of Fame in historic Newport, Rhode Island. With its New England shingle-style architecture and well-manicured grass courts that played host to the first U.S. National Lawn Tennis Championship, this 7-acre property has been witness to history for decades. The International Tennis Hall of Fame is also home to a museum and archives with thousands of pieces of tennis history spanning hundreds of years. The spikes that helped secure the 1969 Grand Slam. The dress that defied the odds and helped millions of girls see their potential. The racket that won the 1988 U.S. Open and cemented the Golden Grand Slam. The telegram that transcended sport and spoke to the highest ideals. Much like the rest of the world, this year is drastically different for the Hall of Fame, with no induction ceremony, no Hall of Fame Open, and the museum and club closed for months. To commemorate this time, the Hall of Fame is creating a special exhibit to showcase this unique stoppage in tennis history, and also to celebrate those who came together in support during this challenging time by putting their names in the Hall of Fame. With a donation tonight, you'll add your name to the list of those around the world who have committed to supporting the Hall of Fame and to the list that will live on in history inside the walls of the museum. Join us tonight as we celebrate and support the International Tennis Hall of Fame, the place that is the keeper of history, inspiration for the future, and the ultimate honor in tennis.
And with that, we welcome you to this Hall of Fame edition of Tennis Channel Live on an evening when we would normally be enshrining the class of 2020 at the International Tennis Hall of Fame in Newport, Rhode Island. We honor them from afar and show you how you can get your name in the Hall of Fame. Later in the show, we will be joined by Stan Smith, the man who makes the call to the new inductees. Plus, see whose game took off as the 2020 Reopen Tour continues from an airport hangar in Germany, and find out where Serena Williams will make her return to competition. With that, we welcome you into our studios in Los Angeles. Steve Weissman alongside the 2000 Newport runner-up, 2008 Newport runner-up, Prakash Amritraj, long-time serve and volley master over here. You were there in 08, made it to that final weekend, same year that Michael Chang was inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. What's so special about that place?
Well, first of all, it has so much history. So to be able to play there as a player, it's one thing. And then if you're fortunate enough to make it to that final weekend and you see the culmination of a career like Michael Chang's, who I grew up watching, you see him there talking about his greatest moments, it's a tremendous inspiration for you.
And later in the show, you'll tell us about that final and what happened afterwards.
We got some stories in that week, absolutely.
All right, the third member of our team is a Hall of Famer. It was just 6 years ago that our friend and colleague Lindsay Davenport was immortalized in the Hall of Fame. 6-time major champion. How about this? 93 career titles. Olympic gold medalist. 4-time year-end #1. Just a few of her many accomplishments. One of the most humble champions you will ever meet. Had the kids there as well. But most importantly, Lindsay is a Hall of Fame human. Our friend joins us now. Lynn, so great to see you. What was that moment like back in 2014?
Oh, it was crazy. I can't believe it was 6 years ago. Man, time really does fly. But it's so emotional. You know, growing up, I never dreamed that I could be one of the best players of all time, and to celebrate it on that kind of stage, you get emotional thinking back about everyone who's helped you to get to that kind of spot in your career. And for me to have my whole family there, it was pretty awesome. And sad that we're not celebrating the inductees today when what should have been their special day, but look forward to celebrating them next year.
I rewatched your entire speech on YouTube last night, Lindsay. You did a fantastic job. It was amazing. Your parents told you don't be a sore loser, don't be a sore winner. And you know, now we see, you know, you're just a wonderful person. We'll get more stories from Lindsay and Prakash about Newport coming up later in the show. But first, we will get you caught up on the latest in and around the tennis world. Take a look at this. Rafa Nadal, the defending champ at both the U.S. Open and Roland Garros, but he's practicing on clay right now. Global superstar, 19 Grand Slams, Prakash. Never too big to sweep his own court. We'll see that. But playing on clay right now, what does that tell you about his plans to play the U.S. Open?
Well, I think we got a couple takeaways. One, hard courts don't look so likely. I think he's going to focus on that umpteenth French Open title. And you know what? We always talk about what's your code, how strong someone is to be able to make them chase their greatness. This is it. This is what we're seeing right here. Rafa doesn't take anything for granted and is still humble even after all these accomplishments. Amazing.
I think you're right, Prakash. I think this signals that he feels most comfortable not only on clay, but also probably staying in Europe. And I think unlikely we'll see him in New York. Maybe we're wrong. And also to all the juniors, if Rafa can sweep his court, you sweep your own court as well.
Yes.
Darn straight. Well, Serena Williams, she was a part of that big presentation from the USDA, so we know she's going to play the U.S. Open, but she is making her return to the tour in Lexington, Kentucky at the Top Seed Open. Lindsay, what was your reaction when you heard this news?
I was a little bit surprised, but honestly thrilled and so excited for women's pro tennis, and especially a first-time tournament. This is such a great sign for them. And also, I think it shows Serena's huge commitment to going after the U.S. Open title. She wants to get some matches under her belt, and what a huge get for this first-year tournament.
Lindsay, I tell you, will be even better get. I know all of us have been following Serena on social. She posted the most adorable picture of her and Olympia on court, matching doubles partners. Now, if we could get them in the doubles draw, that might be even bigger get.
Maybe a little early, Prakash. Give her a few years, right? But
they already won a doubles title together, remember?
That is
actually, I mean,
true.
they won a title together,
singles.
the Australian
yeah,
Open.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
All right, it is a Hall of Fame show. Conchita Martinez, Goran Ivanisevic making their debut in the Enshrinement Gallery at the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Conchita saying that she absolutely cannot wait to celebrate next year. For now, let's stay safe, Linz. You know Conchita. You've known her for a long time. Obviously, very special moment for her.
It really was, and she was so excited to celebrate today. I was back with her in January. The Australian Open did a wonderful ceremony on court recognizing both Conchita and also Goran, and she couldn't believe it. She was, on the ballot a few times. It didn't happen for her, so excited to get voted in this year. She deserves it. Fantastic person, as you said, Steve, but also her credentials as a player. But how about also a coach, a Fed Cup coach, a Davis Cup captain, and also the coach of Muguruza? She's done a wonderful job in all facets of this sport.
Indeed, we'll have much more on Conchita Martinez as well as Goran Ivanisevic later in the show. But the 2020 Reopen Tour continues, and we found a new venue. How about an airport hangar in Berlin, Germany? And this is how Prakash and Lindsay get to the airport. They get private fancy cars, right to the private jet, and then straight to the tennis court. Anastasia Sevastova taking on Alina Svitolina. A rematch from last week, Lindsay, but it was on grass. Very different result on a hard court.
Yeah, Sevastova looks much more comfortable playing on this hard court. And honestly, Svitolina looked a little bit tired. A lot of tennis in this last week for these players. And Sevastova, we're always marvel at all her variety, her ability to hit drop shots and use slices. And she put everything together today. And Svitolina wasn't hitting the ball great, and Sevastova really able to take advantage with her all-court game. Sevastova ranked outside the top 40 right now, and she might be one of these players that really benefits from this long extended break, got her mind set, and will be ready to go when the tour starts.
She beat Kiki Bertens in straight sets on Friday, now 1-1 against Alina Svitolina today. So pretty special result. She'll play the final. Meantime, that's Tommy Haas, the retired 42-year-old tournament director of Indian Wells, taking on Dominic Thiem. Haas coming off a straight set win against Jan-Lennard Struff, Prakash, and he had it toe-to-toe with Thiem in this first set.
Well, Steve, you're completely right. He beat Struff. He played very tight with Sinner last week as well. I mean, Tommy might be on that Benjamin Button. It seems like he's getting younger as he goes on. On digital, he's been posting different fitness challenges the entire time during COVID, and it really seems to be showing here. I mean, Thiem is in fine form. He's played a ton of matches during this sort of exhibition period, so he's obviously striking the ball really well, and Tommy played him nose to nose.
I mean, this went to a tiebreak in the first set. Tommy got broken twice, team got broken once. I mean, should Tommy Haas be making a comeback like Kim Clijsters?
Well, he went undefeated on the Champions Tour last year, as you mentioned, but you know what? I think Tommy can play at this level when he wants to, but I think he's enjoying the family time. I don't know if he wants to do that whole 25, 30 weeks on the road thing again.
Lindsay, if Kim can do it, should Tommy be making this comeback?
He definitely could do it, but I think Prakash is right. The time commitment is a lot. And don't forget, by the way, tournament director, one of the biggest tournaments in the world in our sport. So he's got a lot of things going on.
So that means he can give himself a wild card, correct?
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Right, the championship matches are all set up. Linz, what do you make of Kvitova against Sevastova?
This be an interesting battle of the power of Kvitova and the feel of Sevastova. I've been impressed with Kvitova. She's been one of these players that's played a lot of events, looks so excited to be out there. She's in great shape. I think if Kvitova's hitting the ball well, she's got just a little too much power to overwhelm Sevastova.
All right, still to come on the show, we will honor the Hall of Fame class of 2020, Conchita Martinez and Goran Ivanisevic. Plus, Stan Smith was enshrined in 1987, and now he is the president of the International Tennis Hall of Fame. He'll tell us how your name can be among the legends in Newport. You're watching TC Live.
A passion for tennis means more than a love of the game. BNP Paribas has been sharing those emotions for 45 years. On the courts, around the world, and in the stands. It's about rewarding fans, helping the players, and those who dream of playing. And soon we'll be providing support to promising youngsters. That's why BNP Paribas has been all about tennis for all the people for over 45 years.
I'm Randy. And I'm Dave. And we're BOMBAS. We sell socks.
But not this one, because this sock is designed to be donated. Socks are the #1 most requested clothing item in homeless shelters. So for every pair of super comfortable BOMBAS socks you buy, we donate this pair to someone in need. And thanks to you, we just donated 30 million of them, which makes this the greatest sock never sold. Give a pair when you buy a pair and get 20% off your first order at bombas.com.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-520-5408. That's 800-520-5408.
Newport, Rhode Island, home to the Breakers Mansion and the permanent home for tennis record breakers. Coming up on Tennis Channel Live, we will talk to Hall of Famer Stan Smith about the class of 2020. Plus, John Wertheim joins us to get the very latest on the U.S. Open. And jokes that burn more than a 155-mile-per-hour serve. See how you can join the virtual roast of 2017 Hall of Fame inductee Andy Roddick. But when we return, Lindsay and Prakash honor the exploits of Conchita Martinez and Goran Ivanisevic, the latest tennis stars to shine for all time.
Hi, Phil Swift here for Flex Paste, the incredible rubberized paste. Right out of the tub, Flex Paste is super thick. It clings to the surface and it instantly fills gaps and holes. Flex Paste penetrates deep into hard-to-reach areas. You can spread it, Shape it to take on just about any form. Use flex paste on wood, metal, all types of surfaces. And once it dries, it turns to this, a strong, flexible rubber. It expands and contracts. Flex paste is tough stuff. Now that's a lot of damage. But with flex paste, you can create a watertight seal. This thick rubber coating is perfect for sealing leaks in RVs and campers, or stopping insects and rodents from entering your home. Flex paste is perfect for crafts and hobbies and can be painted any color to create anything you can imagine. Floods can destroy your home. Push flex paste deep into wet surfaces to help prevent flood damage. To show you the power of flex paste, I took this chicken wire. Woo! Then shaped and covered it using only flex paste and created the world's first flex paste rubber boat. Not only does flex paste seal up every hole in the chicken wire, it creates a watertight barrier, and the inside is completely dry. Get flex paste and the Flex Seal family of products at flexsealproducts.com.
The International Tennis Hall of Fame welcomes two new inductees to the 2020 class, Conchita Martinez and Goran Ivanisevic. Conchita Martinez became the first Spanish woman to win Wimbledon in 1994.
It was a good final. I had to return really well with my backhand and make a lot of passing shots. So I was playing well and I was thinking, let's just try and have fun. I was okay. I was okay that day.
With her well-rounded game, Conchita reached the semifinals or better at every major, including final appearances at the Australian Open in 1998 and Roland Garros in 2000. In Fed Cup competition, Conchita would help lead Spain to 5 titles. During her 18-year professional career, she amassed 33 singles titles and 13 doubles titles. Croatian Goran Ivanisevic was known for his expressive personality and powerful lefty serve that left returners flat-footed. His serve and volley game often made him a favorite at Wimbledon.
I think Goran was probably the best server I've ever seen. He would ace you on the second serve on the break points. When you've been waiting for that point for 25 minutes, you wouldn't even have a chance to touch it.
My game was good for grass. And I know that people didn't like me to play with me. They fear my serve. They never knew what's going to happen.
After 3 finals losses at Wimbledon, it would be his 4th final appearance that would be the most surprising. In 2001, Goran was 125 in the world and needed a wild card just to enter the championships. However, his game became inspired and he reached the finals to go against heavy favorite Patrick Rafter. Because of rain delays, the final was moved to a Monday, which opened up more tickets to the general public. The drama of the match delivered, and Goran survived in 5 thrilling sets to win his elusive first major. Goran would retire from competition in 2004 with 22 singles titles, 9 doubles titles, and 2 Olympic bronze medals.
It's a great honor to be a part of the Hall of Fame, to have your name among these amazing other champions and friends.
This is the end of my tennis road, my tennis trip, and I was really proud of myself to think, what did I achieve? I got into the Hall of Fame.
Conchita Martinez, Goran Ivanisevic both had career-defining moments at the Yale England Club, reached world number 2. The 94 champ Martinez, 3-time Olympic medalist, 33 WTA titles. Ivanisevic won 22 titles, had that magical run in 2001. Back with Lindsay and Prakash. And Lindsay, you said back in the mid-90s that Conchita Martinez was arguably your toughest opponent. What made her such a difficult matchup?
You know, Conchita was one of those few players that had so much variety, and she had this big forehand. She could hit it with a lot of spin, and then she had this backhand where she had this underrated slice. She could dink it around the court. She can get it deep. And then she also had a beautiful drive and moved around the court so well, really understood the angles. And, you know, it was an interesting career for Conchita because she was in the shadows of Arantxa for so many years. And then all of a sudden really broke through, really started to believe in herself at Wimbledon of all surfaces. I mean, grass was not the surface she liked to play on. And yet her dreams came true those 2 weeks at Wimbledon. When she was able to beat Martina in that final, everything kind of came together, but she was a very shy champion and didn't like a lot of attention. And so it took her a little bit of time to get used to being so great. And she ended up playing in 3 Grand Slam finals, just won the one Wimbledon, but she was a threat on all surfaces. And she also off the court was honestly one of the nicest opponents I ever played against. She was always very humble. She tried very hard, but afterwards, everything stayed on the court with Conchita, and I always loved that about her.
Lindsay, to add to that Wimbledon that she won against Martina, we also have to give a lot of credit to the fact that grass isn't what it is today. It was grease lightning back then, and Conchita obviously a lot more familiar with the clay court surface, having grown up in Spain. She had tremendous success at the Italian Open and much more comfortable in general. So to be able to adjust her game to such a fast grass court surface and then playing Martina, going for her 10th title, and still come out victory, that's one of the more special upsets, I think, in the Wimbledon finals.
It was indeed, and Conchita Martinez, the 6th Spaniard to be inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Goran Ivanisevic, Prakash, is the first Croatian, so pretty special for that entire nation. What stands out most to you, Prakash, about Goran's career?
Well, the minute you mention Goran's name, I start smiling. I mean, for a guy who broke more rackets than I could possibly count, he did it with a great deal of charm. You couldn't help but cheer for him, and I think his whole journey at Wimbledon really turned into a fairy tale. He lost those brutal finals, 5 sets to Agassi in '92, 3 sets to Sampras in '94, 5 sets again to Sampras in '98, and you know, he really thought he was down and out. And for him to come back, win that spectacular semi against Tim, and it was like a football match out there with all the different flags and so forth at Wimbledon. It was one of the more special stories I think we've seen. You can see the emotion right there.
I think that was what was so endearing about Goran, is you always knew what he was feeling. He wasn't afraid to act like himself out on the court, and especially in an era where everyone was so buttoned up, you had Goran, who you always got a sense of what he was dealing with. I mean, he himself always talks about there's a couple Gorans, and I hope on the big point the good Goran comes out, but I have a lot of them in my head. And you know, he's just so honest about that, because all the players out there, you face your demons, and you choke at times, you want to get angry at times, and he just let it all happen. And you knew he was fighting himself, but he did such a great job, especially at that Wimbledon where he was able to win, about fighting off the bad Gorans and letting the good one shine through.
Fighting off the bad Gorans. 10,131 career aces. That ranks 4th all time. And both of these players have now transitioned to coaching Grand Slam champions. Lindsay, what has Conchita brought to Garbiñe Muguruza?
You could see it immediately. I mean, even when Conchita just filled in a couple of Wimbledons ago, she was able to get Muguruza to a better place mentally. And you saw Muguruza shine at Wimbledon to be able to win there. And now, as a full-time coach, immediately makes an impact in Australia. I mean, Muguruza was down and out. She wasn't even seeded going into this year's Australian Open, had such a bad year last year, out of the top 30 going into the year. And it's just that subtle difference she makes. She gives her confidence. She gets her to believe in herself. She's also getting Muguruza out on the court to think for herself. And she's trying to come up with game plans beforehand and just really give her the support. And you can see what a huge difference she makes in Muguruza's life and career.
And for Goran Ivanisevic now, Prakash, he coached Marin Cilic, who's a Grand Slam champion, fellow Croatian, now with Serbian Novak Djokovic, the #1 player in the world. What does he bring to his team?
Well, I think Goran played in a different era. You know, it was a little bit more aggressive back then, a little bit more sniper hitting, if you will, a lot of serve and volley, big serving. So I think he can bring a little bit of that to today's game, which the points are a little bit more elongated. He got Marin to be very aggressive when he was with him, really used that big height and big serve of his. And with Novak, he's so good on defense. I think adding those little elements of aggression when he can, shorten the points when he can, just is going to extend Novak's career even longer. And just a note to Goran out there, I hope this gets to you. We're all pulling for a quick recovery for you from COVID.
Absolutely. This would have been the day that Conchita Martinez and Goran Ivanisevic would have been in Newport, Rhode Island, put those jackets on, and been enshrined in the International Tennis Hall of Fame. We will talk to the president of the Hall of Fame, Stan Smith, and he'll talk about Conchita and Goran next.
A passion for tennis means more than a love of the game. BNP Paribas has been sharing those emotions for 45 years. On the courts, around the world, and in the stands. It's about rewarding fans, helping the players, and those who dream of playing. And soon we'll be providing support to promising youngsters. That's why BNP Paribas has been all about tennis for all the people for over 45 years.
Meet Function of Beauty, the custom shampoo the internet can't stop talking about.
Love the formulas. My curls are on fire.
This is the first time I've worn my hair naturally in years.
This has literally saved my hair.
It was a hair-changing experience.
One-of-a-kind formulas created just for you. Just take the quiz. Choose your hair goals, scent, and color, and find out why Function of Beauty is the internet's #1 custom hair care brand. Get 10% off your first custom formula at functionofbeauty.com.
Jim and Joanne are here to pick up the same prescription. They both know the system is not on their side. They both know drug costs are out of control. But one of them is taking back control with GoodRx. Next. So while he's paying that much, even with his insurance, she's paying this much just by using GoodRx. Use GoodRx to compare prices at pharmacies in your area and stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Download the free app today and take back control.
At some point in their life, 52% of all men will experience erectile dysfunction, but most of them never get treated. Now there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get genuine medication prescribed by a U.S. licensed physician, all from the comfort of your home. If medication is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping and in discreet packaging. Get started with a free online visit today at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it.
National Tennis Hall of Fame, one of the most unique and special places, preserving tennis history and celebrating its champions. And we are always honored to be joined by one of those champions, Hall of Famer and International Tennis Hall of Fame President Stan Smith. We wish we were with you in Newport. You're in Hilton Head. We're in Los Angeles. Got to do what we got to do at this point. But Conchita Martinez, Goran Ivanisevic, they will be at the ceremony next year, Stan. So we're looking forward to that. You're the guy that makes the phone call, tells people when they become Hall of Famers. What were those calls and reactions like with Conchita and Goran?
Well, those are special calls, especially with some that were on the ballot before. They didn't make it on their first ballot or second ballot, so I've had to make that call to tell them that they weren't. But this year was great to do that, particularly with Conchita, who has been on the ballot a few times. And so it's going to be exciting. It's really unfortunate. It would be right about this time. Last year was about this time, just before dark, that we had the induction. And next year we'll be inducting the 2020 and the 2021 Hall of Famers, both in the player category and the contributor category next year.
Stan, that day, the ceremony day, it's such a special day. It's so magical, the feel of actually being there. What's the impact of not being able to have it this year?
Well, it's very disappointing for everybody. Obviously, the two inductees, they are getting a feel for what it's like, but you really don't know what it's like until you're there and you're giving your acceptance speech and you're thanking your friends and family. And even the greats who would think they're automatic in there, which, like a Pete Sampras, for instance, Pete, broke down as he was really recognizing all those people that helped him in his career. And so it's a very special moment. Also, when the inductees go into the museum and they see all the players that are in the Hall of Fame, and arguably the best 257, they're not all players, some are contributors, are in the Hall of Fame from 27 different countries. And so it's a very, very elite, special fraternity.
Well, Stan, to be able to stand up there and say some words must feel very, very special. Now, we have to take a trip down memory lane and go back to '87, and I'm going to take a quick look at your speech.
I love the game of tennis, but you don't have to love the game of tennis to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I'm sure that's why you're here today, is because you love the game of tennis and continue to watch it and play it, and I really encourage you to continue to do so. And I'd just like to say as I finish here that it really is special to be here. There are only a few special moments in our lives, and certainly this will go down as one of those. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Stan.
Stan, that was such a special year, 1987, such an exceptional class. Talk about the inductees that year. You had Bjorn Borg, Alex Olmedo, Dennis Ralston, a few Trojans in there, Billie Jean. How was it?
And Billie Jean. Yeah, well, it's always good to have fellow Trojans there, Prakash, as you know. And yes, right on. But, that was an unbelievable class. In fact, Bjorn wasn't able to make it that year, so he actually came the next year. But the four of us were there. And to be there with my old friend Dennis and Alex, who went to USC as well. And, of course, Billie Jean, who had been a friend from Southern California from the very beginning of when I started playing tennis. She was there, and so it was a Southern California sort of class, except for Bjorn Borg, who is, I guess, he's in my top 6 of all times. So it was pretty neat to be there with those players.
Yeah, 87's got to be one of the greatest classes of all time, Stan. The International Tennis Hall of Fame, it's all about preserving tennis history, celebrating its champions, and inspiring the next generation. Tell us about the new fundraiser that you have to help support the Hall of Fame.
Well, one of the fundraisers we have this year, and we're really hoping that the fans will get behind this, as well as some of the other initiatives that we have to raise money for the Hall of Fame. As we know, we don't have the tournament. We're not going to have the Legends Ball during the U.S. Open. And these are two of our biggest fundraisers for the Hall of Fame. But we have an initiative called Your Name in the Hall of Fame campaign. And so what you can do is you can sign up. It's only $25 at the minimum. You can put more than that, but $25, you'll get a chance to put your photograph, a photograph of anybody you'd like. And I'll show you a photograph that my wife, Margie, has sent this in yesterday. So when you get back on camera here, you'll see the shot here. This is the shot that she's going to put in this mosaic of photographs that fans all over the world will be putting in. And so this is her. She's the oldest one when she was about, I guess, 12, and her 4 sisters. And those were, that was my favorite photograph of them. And she may even do something to celebrate her mother. You can do this as a Christmas gift. You can have a photograph of yourself, your family, friends, tennis teams, whatever you want. And you'll be in there with all the other Hall of Famers in this mosaic that will be really there at the Hall of Fame. You'll be able to visit it and see it yourself. It also will be online. So when this is all finished, it's going to be a really neat mosaic of people that are really tennis fans. But we've got so many things have been happening this summer during this COVID period that we've had some digital exhibits on the website. We've had live interviews with Hall of Famers. I did one early on, and we've had a lot of great Hall of Famers coming out. And we have a special program called Tennis Fame, which is an NJLT, chapter here in Newport, Rhode Island, to help kids here. And we've actually been able to work with them during this period of time and go to various parks and play with those kids and keep them going. But one of the great things, Prakash, both of you, Steve, will also be interested in seeing the facility because we have this capital campaign going and money has gone towards redoing the grass courts. Oh. And so the grass courts, I saw a photograph today, first time I've really seen it, and they're fabulous. And they've gotten some great reviews from the members. The courts are playing harder, they're playing more consistent. All the courts are going to be the same. And I think that the players they're going to be very excited to see the improvements of the courts itself. And the entire facility is fantastic. The stadium court's been fixed up. The outside courts are nice. The offices are beautiful, all done in the same architectural style of the original thing. You know, it's amazing that the original U.S. national championships were held at Newport, at this facility. So there's quite a bit of history there. And so we really encourage people to support the history of the game as no one else does with the International Tennis Hall of Fame, and hopefully get a chance to visit the museum. The museum has been continually upgraded. There's going to be a great feature of Arthur Ashe and also the original 9, the ladies that really started professional tennis in the museum. So every month we have new items that are going on, and then a lot of these will be online as well. So you'll get to see those exhibits online if you can't go there in person.
That's awesome, Stan. It's a spectacular venue. If you haven't been, if you're a tennis fan, you got to check out the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Thanks so much for joining us on Tennis Channel Live. Our best to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Well, same to you, and I hope to see you guys live sooner than later.
Absolutely, Stan. A reminder, you can go to tennisfame.com/yourname to donate and become a part of an interactive exhibit at the museum in Newport. We'll be right back.
Don't wanna wait around till Sunday. I'll give you something, make you shake it. It's just another side effect of the happiness that
It's a new kind of summer, but it is summer. Find exceptional offers at the Infinity Summer Event and experience Infinity Now. Service, test drives, purchase and leasing that comes to you. Get 0% APR for up to 72 months on all new 2020 Infinity models.
Jade is about to buy her first home. And with a verified approval from Rocket Mortgage, she has the strength to compete with cash offers. When you need an edge in the bidding war, Rocket can.
Shop Tennis Express for the largest selection of Nike tennis gear. Gear up with high-performance shoes for maximum speed, support, and comfort. Play your best with Nike apparel built for the pros. Nike footwear and apparel available now at tennisexpress.com.
We all know that movement is like medicine, but getting the movement you need to feel better can be a challenge. Now you can keep fit while you sit with QB, the world's leading compact seated elliptical. QB gives you active sitting, letting you burn calories and keep moving in an easy and low-impact way, all while you work, read, or watch TV. QB was named a top 10 gift by Time Magazine and has been featured all over the world. It's whisper quiet while it works your abs and core, hip flexors, glutes, quads, hamstrings, and calves.
QB is a lifesaver for me.
Here's your answer to your problem. I feel young again.
Join the hundreds of thousands of people moving more with QB. Call to find out how to get your QB with free shipping and a 30-day completely risk-free trial. You'll also get this QB workout mat free. Now keep fit while you sit with QB.
To order, call 800-270-5450. That's 800-270-5450. Call now.
Back on Tennis Channel Live, check out what we have for you next week as the 2020 Reopen Tour continues live on Tennis Channel and TC Plus. The Eastern European Championship, we got the Tip Sport Elite Trophy, World Team Tennis from the Greenbrier in West Virginia, UTR Pro Series event in Spain, and of course in France, the Ultimate Tennis Showdown, the UTS continues. So a lot of live tennis for you here on Tennis Channel and TC Plus as we bring the entire family back together. Steve, Lindsay, Prakash, and our insider, John Wertheim. Great to see you, John. Let's tackle some tennis topics. What is the very latest you are hearing about the U.S. Open being played?
Well, it's as of today, we have to timestamp this. It is still on. There was an ATP call yesterday, and the USDA's message was essentially, look, until further notice, it's on. And there's obviously been a lot of chatter, a lot of concern. I mean, one of the countering forces, I'm in New York, and it is a much different scenario. I mean, this is not the city that it was in March or April, so things are getting better in New York, even though that doesn't hold true for the country. It seems like the big concern, though, is travel. And a lot of players and the ATP are very concerned about it, getting players in, getting players out. There is someone at Homeland Security, former college tennis player Chad Wolf, who's sort of the USDA's secret weapon. But right now, until further notice, tournament's still on. There's going to be a final decision made a week from Friday on July 31st. I definitely think the clouds have come in. It's definitely not quite as rosy as it was a few weeks ago on account of the race. But as of now, event's still going.
And that's so important. I think the players just want some clarity. And even July 31st, it seems so late to be deciding for good if that tournament's going to happen. I think, John, I think you're right. I think there's players that are obviously concerned about flying to the United States. But then it's also, as the players leave the United States and go on, where do they fly to? And do they have to then quarantine for 14 days? Because then that obviously hurts their chances to play in the next tournament and the clay court events. So still a lot up in the air this close to a tournament. It's very hard for all the players and for the tours to kind of figure out what should happen in the coming months.
So still some uncertainties there. July 31st, the date that we are hearing for a final decision on the U.S. Open. Dominic Thiem, he's been playing on every surface. He's been playing every event. I think he's played 27 matches since the tours were officially suspended. And he's got some new information, Prakash. Take a look at this, because a lot of the events that he's been playing, well, they haven't necessarily played full best 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5 sets. And he said, I think we could think about introducing the super tiebreak into the third set sometime on tour, maybe in tournament first rounds. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not sure if this is coming from the fact that he's been playing in these new formats and he's been having a tremendous amount of success. But I think once we get back to the regular tour and matches are being played out, I think if we do try something like this, we're going to see a lot more upsets out there. And that generally doesn't favor the players in the top 10, the top 5. So I'm not sure. Dominic might walk this thing back once we get back to the tour.
Guys, you ever have one of those jobs in high school where they give you extra shifts, but you get so tired you try to cut out a little bit early? I feel like this is the equivalent. I mean, this is a guy, Steve, you said it. This guy's played almost 30 matches in the pandemic. This is a guy who will play 80 singles matches in a year. So, yeah, why not keep it short? One thing I did look it up, only 53% for his career in tiebreakers, which is awfully low for a guy in the top 5. So maybe there is some self-interest that goes beyond just keeping his work days a little bit tighter.
I think it's actually a great idea, as all these players are coming off extended layoffs and they haven't been able to practice maybe as much as they would have on a normal off season. And then if you look at the calendar, we are so jam-packed with all these tournaments going back to back to back and really big tournaments. This might take some of the pressure off players' bodies and injuries. If this was kind of in play the first few rounds of these tournaments, it might allow the players to play even more.
What do you think, Lindsay, about taking some of the other rules that we've seen during the pandemic, like no ad scoring? Would that be something you'd be for?
I think so. I think something's going to have to give because, you know, all these players, we want all these big tournaments, but it's so hard to ask the players to play all these weeks in a row. We've got 2 majors in a really short time also coming up. I think it's a lot. I think that something is going to have to change scoring system-wise to have these players be able to withstand all these challenges, change of surfaces, being able to travel. And, oh, by the way, we haven't played competitive tennis in, what, about 4, 5, 6 months?
I think it's one of those things we're going to have to see it in effect. We're going to have to see how it affects the players. Lindsay, I think you're completely right. With all of these back-to-back, especially hard court to clay, not any break in between, shortening up the format may be a little bit easier on the players. But again, they've been so comfortable in the normal formats for so long. I think it'll be interesting to see how it pans out, maybe try it out for a couple months.
I want nicknames. I want 3 points per winner. I'm ready to shake things up coming out of this COVID crisis. But I think Lindsay raises a really good point. And you hear some chatter from World Team Tennis that I know we'll be talking about. And one thing you hear is that, yeah, players are going to take some time to get back into this, and they're not at the level where they necessarily thought they would be. There's a big difference between hitting balls in your backyard and competitive matches, and I do think we may need to rethink certainly best of 5 in a major after this kind of a break, especially with 2 majors now bunched so close together. So It'll be interesting to see, but maybe Dominic Thiem knows more than he knows.
Well, certainly what we do know is that players will be getting their own towels. They'll be getting their own tennis balls. But you bring up World Team Tennis, where the actual teammates are the ball kids in that scenario. And Lindsay, Kim Clijsters has been on fire at the Greenbrier. 4-0. She's beaten 2 Grand Slam champions, Sophia Kenin, Sloane Stephens. How about wins against Bernarda Pera and Danielle Collins as well? Is she now maybe one of the favorites at the U.S. Open in Roland Garros?
Well, we'll see. I mean, this has been a fantastic idea for Kim to come over and play World Team Tennis. I will say a lot different playing a set to 5 than it would be playing 2 out of 3 sets. But Kim's level has been sensational. So far, she's been the best player at World Team Tennis on the women's side. She came back in February. She was still dealing with some injuries. She didn't play as well as she wanted in the 2 tournaments she did play in. She's looking forward to playing here in the States. I think we're going to see her at all these tournaments. And I mean, I think everyone's going to give her wild cards to wherever she wants to play, and she's going to be a threat. The more matches she gets under their belt, the better and better she's going to keep getting.
On a Hall of Fame show, let's not forget, it was 3 years ago now that she's already been inducted. But remember she announced this comeback, and something, Wozniacki was the name. I think there was a bit of skepticism of sort of like, well, I guess you can try, but, 36, like, why is she doing this? I think this week has been very strong. Remember, she had not won a match during her comeback, but she played Joe Conta tough. She played Muguruza tough. I mean, this is a player who hits a big ball. She's still an athlete. And if she can use this as a springboard, I think Lindsay's right. I mean, I think let's not read too much into these abbreviated sets, but she's playing doubles too. She's winning her singles matches. If she can use this into a springboard, I don't know if she's winning more majors, but she certainly has made this comeback valid right now.
Yeah, John, I think those Konta and Muguruza matches certainly said a lot, especially with the results she's backed it up with in WTT. But I think what we're seeing is, when you're a champion, that never goes away. It's just a matter of the physical. Can you get back to the shape that you were once in? So I just hope over these next couple of months, we just see her continue to stay healthy, give herself the best shot to be out there on the court, and then who knows, maybe we might see something special.
Listen, she's actually younger than both Serena and Venus Williams. And the fact that she's been able to come back and do this, she's got her whole team there. She's got her coach there. She's got her physio there. She's all in on the comeback despite the pandemic, Lindsay. The fact that she has made this comeback before, she's a veteran player. She knows what she needs to do to get ready for the tournaments that are coming up at the Pro Tour level. Does that help her in this scenario?
I think so. I think that once you've been number 1 in the world or a Grand Slam champion, you know what you need to do to play your best. However, when she came back last time, I mean, she was still in her 20s. I mean, fast forward now, late 30s. She also, by the way, had 2 more kids. Let's just say she's had 3 kids now, a little different than having just 1. But certainly she knows what she needs to do. Now, being able to go do it is a whole different ballgame. And again, trying to balance with 3 little kids there. They're here in the States also with her, supporting her. It would be a phenomenal story if she is able to do some real damage. Again, now, given her age and also the mother of 3, she is courageous. Go, Kim.
It's been fun to watch. Undefeated right now in singles play in World Team Tennis. All right, John, stick with us. We've got much more still to come. You mentioned the 2017 Hall of Fame class. Andy Roddick, a part of that one. We love his quick wit and self-deprecating humor. The tables will be turned on our friend. We'll tell you about a Roddick roast for charity coming up.
Today started like any other day. You got up, showered, brushed your teeth, got in your Celtos, and took a shortcut through the desert. I wonder what people without all-wheel drive capability are doing right now. Introducing the all-new Celtos.
Sir, you cannot park there.
What? Why?
Reserved for Chris Paul.
Barb, tell me what you not see.
My name's not Barb. You're not Chris Paul.
Stop it, Nancy. Woo!
That's not my name.
Can I see some ID?
This is my ID. Need a tow truck on level 1. Oh, it's Jake from State Farm.
Here's the deal. There's no replacing the real Chris Paul, just like there's no replacing State Farm.
Molly, who took my spot?
Oh, just some guy. We're taking care of it.
Okay.
You want the real deal? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This is Ava. These are Ava's shoulders. they square off and bear it all. But now Ava's shoulders are stronger than ever. This is what Medicare from Blue Cross Blue Shield does for Ava. And with plans that fit your life and budget, you can count on us when it matters most. This is Medicare from Blue Cross Blue Shield. This is the benefit of Blue.
Capital One knows life doesn't update you about your credit card. So meet Eno, the Capital One assistant that looks out for charges that might surprise you and helps you fix them. What's in your wallet?
If you love peanut butter most, this cup has your name on it. If you love chocolate most, this cup has your name on it. Not literally. That'd be a logistical nightmare, especially if we used last names. Then we'd have to do both sides. Reese's lovers, yeah, they're back.
Sort of like a war of attrition out there. It's just very hot and humid.
And John Isner has got himself a 4th Newport title. Ends up prone on his stomach.
I've seen more graceful match points than that one before.
What's it like, first title with your daughter there?
Wow, that was a very special moment. Can't replace that with anything. That's going to be a memory I won't soon forget.
And for John Isner, that was his record 4th title in Newport. Hunter Grace and his wife Madison were there on the court. Really cool moment. Prakash, with that 4th title, he actually broke a tie with your pops, VJ, for the most titles in Newport.
Pops had his eye on that match, but John's such a popular champion over there. Kind of fits really well into his game. I mean, as if it wasn't tough enough to break his serve already, it makes it almost impossible over there. And it's just a really family-oriented town. So for him to be able to bring his family there, I really know he loves that week.
And I remember, man, it was hot, it was humid, just sticky conditions in Newport last year. Time to enter the social net. We mentioned Andy Roddick, now our colleague Andy Roddick, and he's got the Andy Roddick Foundation Virtual Roast, August 23rd. His wife, Brooklyn Decker, will host. John, there are celebrity guests, John Legend, Chrissy Teigen, and more. It all benefits the Andy Roddick Foundation. How would you roast Andy Roddick, John?
Oh, man. Well, you say whatever you want because you don't have to worry about Andy's return.
That's
Get that? Take that, Jeff Ross. No, come on. You want to roast someone that needs to be knocked down a peg. Andy doesn't need to be roasted. But good for him, and it all goes to a good cause.
Certainly, I mean, with their students and families hit the hardest by COVID-19 and racial injustice, their work has never been more important. So if you want to sign up for this, support the Andy Roddick Foundation. Meantime, Prakash, take a look at this. Kei Nishikori, the sneakerhead. This is his collection of shoes. This rivals yours, I believe.
Listen, I can't even put myself in this category, but listen, this is rivaling Turtles from Entourage. I mean, that's the kind of sneakerhead that Kei is. I mean, this is something new that I didn't know about Kei, but I see some nice ones in there. I can't particularly see if there are any old school Jordans in there. 85, 86 would be nice.
Top row.
I don't see the Stan Smiths either in there. He needs to get a pair of those custom kicks from our boy Dexter the Creator. You know, that would add to this collection, but pretty good stuff from Kei Nishikori. Meantime, Lindsay, this was a clip from about a week ago. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. This baby was in a tennis ball cart, and it was just drop feeding its dad. What do you make of this?
It's just the cutest. First of all, we always say tennis is a sport of a lifetime, a sport for the whole family, clearly. But also you see so often, even on the pro tour, that coaches will go around dropping balls for their players. This was just the cutest. And then he gets a little sneaky, turns his head for a little bit to try and trick him. This was honestly the best video that we've gotten in social media like the last month or so. This baby's adorable. I loved it so much.
This is amazing. I mean, people have asked me, when did you have a racket in your hand? Did you have it in the crib? This is the next level. The ball hopper is the crib for the baby. I mean, outstanding.
Did you have your kids' eligibility rules there?
Lindsay, I mean, was Jagger doing this when he was, little, or?
No, my kids would have thrown him at my face, but this is like really disciplined by the kid, and the backhand looks smooth too. That's a lot of good things going on there.
Best drop feeder around. I mean, who knew? Yeah. Just put your baby in the hopper and get it going. John, thanks so much for your time and insight as always. Stay safe. We will see you soon, and we'll be back to wrap up TC Live after this.
This time tomorrow, where will we be?
Day trips are better than daydreams.
Alexa, lock the front door.
Locking. Experience the joy of a bigger world in a highly connected Lexus hybrid. Visit your local Lexus dealer in person or online for exceptional offers at the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
My age-related macular degeneration could lead to vision loss. So today I made a plan with my doctor, which includes Preservision, because he said a multivitamin alone may not be enough. And it's my vision, my morning walk, my Sunday drive, my grandson's beautiful face.
Only Preservision A-Reds 2 contains the exact nutrient formula recommended by the National Eye Institute to help reduce the risk of moderate to advanced AMD progression.
It's how I see my life, because it's my vision. Preservision.
Devin, did you know Geico is now offering an extra 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies?
Okay.
That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? DJ Khaled to be your motivational coach?
Yo, Devin, remember to brush in a circle motion.
Thank you, DJ Khaled.
Tiny circles, Devin. Do another one. Another one.
Is this good?
Put in that work, Devin. Don't give up.
Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th.
My money should work as hard as I do. That's why I use my Freedom Unlimited card every time I get gas. Give me a little slack. With Freedom Unlimited, you're always earning. I said I need some slack on pump 3.
The International Tennis Hall of Fame in Newport, Rhode Island celebrates the history of tennis. But now its doors have been forced closed. Join supporters whose names will be honored within these walls by donating today at tennisfame.com.
He sounded crazy. He was right. His benefactors gave him might. And now he belongs at this fine site.
I was 5 years old when I first hit a tennis ball and a racket was put in my hand. And I never wanted to learn another sport, and I still don't.
I'm proud to say that no other sport has benefited from having such great people as its leaders. The Big Four guys really piss me off most of the time when I played them. But I'm absolutely proud to have my life and career associated with such quality individuals.
A woman who pioneered the sport and introduced it to a nation where it is now spreading like no one could have ever imagined. Would you please welcome to the stage, Li Na.
That's something we're really missing today, is those special moments, those speeches. Great to see Mary Carrillo there making TC Live. Lindsay, obviously, you had a wonderful speech yourself in 2014. What would be your advice, I guess, next year now for Conchita and Goran going up there?
You know, there's a lot of people that are willing to dole out advice. I heard many different takes on what the speech should be like. And ultimately, I just ended up writing it myself over the course of a few months. And I think that's what you've got to do. You've got to just come from the heart. You see some people get real personal up there. You see some people go for a really long time. You see other people go real short and sweet. I think it's whatever you're comfortable with. And if you want to make it about other people, that's fine. But honestly, it's your moment. And this might be the last really big speech you ever give, and just enjoy it if you can. It's a lot of stress involved, but I definitely felt a lot better when it was over.
And you had that jacket on, the sense of relief when all that happened.
Yes.
Prakash, back in 2008, when you made the finals there of the Hall of Fame Open in Newport, tell us about what happened.
There weren't many ground strokes that week, Steve. You can see I was a little bit leaner back then in 2008, but it was a really special week. I remember, I think my toughest match was in the semis against Frank Dancevic. He was playing pretty well, but I didn't look too happy there when I think Dad was handing out the trophy. He had won the tournament 3 times, so he was asked to give out the trophy, and I think we were all hoping he was going to be giving it to me, but he gave it to Santoro, and I don't look pleased.
Fabrice Santoro, I got you in that final, but we talk about family and the Hall of Fame in Newport, and to be there with your father as well, pretty special.
Absolutely. I grew up there. I mean, when I was a kid, kid watching him play there, kind of, running around the court as a little toddler. The same restaurants were there, the same square was there. So to be able to come back there as a player kind of feels a bit like home. You have that beautiful church where JFK got married. There's a lot of history in that town.
There certainly is, and we hope to be back next year for the 2020 and 2021 enshrinements of the classes at the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Lindsay Prakash, as always, great to see you. Stay safe, stay well, and hope to see you in person soon. And we hope to get this back together with the tour starting once again in August. We have a full slate, though, of matches coming up for you tomorrow on Tennis Channel and TC+. Those finals in Berlin start at 6 a.m. Eastern. The Tip Sport Elite Trophy as well, and the UTR Pro Series in Spain at 11 a.m. Eastern. Fame may be fleeting, but the Hall of Fame is forever. Congratulations to Conchita Martinez and Goran Ivanisevic on joining the best of the best in tennis history. You can join them as well by going to tennisfame.com/yourname. Thanks for watching Tennis Channel Live. We'll see you soon.